Model and layout tabs. We've been working in the model tab. The model tab is located down here in the lower left hand corner. Across the bottom we have layout 1 and layout 2 as tabs. We can basically pick on any one we want at any time. If I click on layout 1, it switches me into the layout tab into paper space. If I click on the model tab, it brings me back to the model where I'm modeling the real world. I can also right click on a tab. When I right click on a tab, I can activate the previous layout and it'll jump to whichever one is the previous layout. I can also right click on a tab and say activate model tab and it'll jump back into the model. If we are going to publish or print all the layout tabs, we could right click and say select all layouts and it'll grab all layouts. Notice down here, they're by default called layout 1 and layout 2. If I go on the layout 1, we typically rename these to something more appropriate, like first floor plan, or stair sections, things of that nature. If I go into layout 1, we take a look at a typical layout, the default look of a layout. Number 1 is out here we have a floating viewport. It's typically drawn in for us, and this is where the hole in the paper, and if I were to grab it, you can see how my hole now just shrunk. I can move these things around a little bit. So it's a default cut through the paper so I can see down through my model. These dashed lines are around the edge. I will get 4 dashed lines. These show our margins. This is the area between the dashed lines and the edge of the paper where the printers cannot print. So we will be notified of what is our margins of our particular printer that we're working with. I can click inside my model space and I can come down and I can activate the model space. And when I click in the paper space, I'm on the top of the paper, working on the paper. These size of paper by default is going to be an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper in the landscape or horizontal orientation. We also get a layout 2. In my case, in layout 2, I put a border and typical general notes on this particular one. And my zoning is also in here. So here's my viewport, and then this stuff, the title block, the 4 border lines, and the general notes down here reside in paper space or on the layout mimicking a sheet of paper. So effectively we have 2 types of areas, model space and paper space. In paper space we have layout tabs. We have 2 default layout tabs, and we have our model where we draw our model in.